What's the 7 of diamonds card? Oh, it's the 3 of cups? Thought so. Boom, baby! G'day elites, how are you? Welcome back to Murphy's Magic Saturday Sorceries. I hope you're having the best weekend so far. Your Saturday has been absolutely chef's kiss perfect, and your Sunday is even going to get even better. You know who I am, the Ice Queen herself, Elsa, and you know why you're here. So thank you very much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Now you saw a nice cute little card effect just before. I created this quite a few years ago and been giving them out as gimmicks to some special friends of mine, but I decided today to teach it to you guys. A special thank you for sticking through the Saturday Sorceries and being so supportive on everything that I create. Plus, what's more is this gimmick is super cute, super clean, and it sits inside your wallet or even in your deck of cards and carry with it anywhere, and it just blends into a regular deck. Now, before we get into the build, a little history on this effect. Now, I created this gimmick quite a few years ago back in Melbourne after seeing the Rising card and then again Martin Lewis's Cardiographic. If you haven't seen Cardiographic, link in the description below right now where you can check it out because this is a beautifully stunning effect. But if you have Cardiographic, you can understand why I'm fascinated with this illusion. So I wanted to take Cardiographic and build it into a deck of cards where the king was holding the Rising card. Now, in my eyes, it wasn't different enough from Martin Lewis's Cardiographic, so I scrapped that idea. Plus, Martin also released a walk around pocket version. Link in the description below for that as well. But I hadn't forgotten about the king holding the card and I wanted to work with that even more. So I created an effect called Random Hero, which I tried to release on Theory 11's The Wire, but they weren't allowing download versions to be able to print off gimmicks and that type of thing. So I decided to play with it even further. So here we are. We now have the finished version that you saw just before you. And now it is out for you to learn. And I hope you like it as much as I do. Now, before we get to the performance and handling of this cute, delicious, tasty little gimmick, let's head downstairs and learn how to actually build it. So this is what you're going to need to build this gimmick, and it looks like a lot, but you don't need all this. These things can be chopped and changed in and out as you need to. So like the tape, the glue, the super glue, and the tape here, these can be all chopped and changed out as you go. Either these two or these. This is just to hold stuff in place, but we'll get to that in a second. You're going to need an X-Acto knife and some scissors, or one or the other. Some tweezers if you need to pinch some things, if you can't get like the sticker off, that type of stuff. 2 cutting tools, or one for like a smaller hole or one for a larger hole. We'll get into why in just a second, but one or the other from this will do, or just a regular hole punch will work as well. Either one of these. You're going to need some elastics if you want it to snap back, if you want it to be self-working. 2 marking tools, so either the Sharpie or the pen. Definitely need a ruler. Now, the most important one is you're going to need a card that can hold like the tiny card in it. So here I've used the King of Hearts because he has these little ends held out where you can hold that card in. Then what you're going to put in behind it is one of the others. So you can either have a blank card, that would be preferable. That'd be the best, as you've got as much room as you can to work with. Or if you can't, some card that has a little bit of space in behind it, like the 4 of spades here. But we'll use this for the tutorial, but this will work also because you have enough space here. Now we've got all those, let's get into building the gimmick. First things first is the King of Hearts. You want to put the card in here that he's going to be holding. So you can either draw that in by hand, draw a little mark in. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to have it come up just here. You can see here to here. That's going to be the top corner of the card there, here to here. And then we're going to have it come down. Yeah, you can get a ruler out if you like. That's going to be the card that he's going to hold in place. So now we're going to cut this out. So this is where an X-Acto knife is handy. And then with the hands here, we're going to go tidy those up in just a second, but we're just going to do a little rough cut out around the fingers, just so we can get this square out. So just cut that out there. And this last corner, there we go. This, you can eat it, throw it away, whatever you want to do with it. And then we're going to go in and just tidy up the fingers. So just use the corner of the X-Acto knife to cut out around fingertips. you go. You can see the cutout around the fingers. I'm just going to do the same to the other hand. There you go. The fingers are cut out. Then we're going to run around the edges with a Sharpie just to mark the edges of the paper behind. So we're just going to run around roughly there. This covers any of that pen mark that you went outside the lines with. There you go. That is that part of the gimmick done. You can see that that's about 17 mils across and about 25 mils high. So this is going to be your slider card that's going to sit underneath inside here. So to make this up, we're going to pretty much cut out up to this border up here, up to almost the top, back down and like this. So we're going to have this whole spot here. This is going to be the slider. So we're going to cut this out now. So now your pieces are cut out. Don't throw this away. We're going to use this in just a bit. Put this over to the side. And this is going to be your slider card. It's going to sit inside here. So a couple of things. We're going to put this back on here. Now we're going to attach this to the back of this. This can be either done with your glue stick or your super glue, but I'm going to use double-sided tape. This is where you can use your fingernails or your tweezers to peel up the sticker here. We're going to attach it to the back of this. The easiest way I find is just hold it flat in your hand and just square it up using the corners of your fingers and your palm to sit it all in place. Now that's attached there, like so. What you're going to do is place this card back in. So this is going to be your ending position. So when you turn it over, you can show the back of it and not see any of the moving gimmicks. We're going to get to that in all a little bit, but we're going to mark this in. So this is going to be your finished position. So come down and mark your card. I'm going to use this tape here. You can use your double-sided tape as well. I'm going to use this tape here because it's easy to peel. Put this back on here. Just to hold that in so it doesn't move about. Then we're going to mark our card underneath. Now you don't want to make this, obviously this card here too long, because if you have, like I said, it's 2.5 centimeters. So if this sits here, the other card sits up here. This is where the card behind is going to sit, so 2.5 centimeters. If you have it any longer, you're obviously going to come off the card. So you want to find the best spot for your other card to sit. 2.5 centimeters here, is down there. So that's pretty much bang on. Either way, I can go here. So I'm going to mark this in. So I can either go my underside card here, up here. So we're going to do that now. We're going to take that off. That's our card in underneath. Get rid of that tape. Now, do we want to go 2.5 centimeters up here? Or 2.5 centimeters down here? I want to go to where I have a little bit more room. Maybe down this end is good. Get 2.5 centimeters to there. And we're just going to run our lines down. So this side, this part, so you can see that's that side. So on this side of the card, we're going to cut up here as much as we can. So when you pull back, that is going to sit up here and sit like this. So let's mark that up. Let's use some more tape. That's held in place. And you can see where my line here is where I've cut. So I want to cut to here. This is where I want it to sit against. So what I want to do, want to make sure is my lines here don't come through the top of the underside card here. So we're going to measure that out. We are going to be clear. So that's where we're going to cut along here. Is the starting position here. You see how that sits off there. So that sits up in the top here. Then when you let go, that's going to shoot down to here. And it's going to look like that on the back. It blends it in really nicely. So now we've got that, we're going to go over and mark our lines a little bit nicer, color in the black edges. So if we have any flash on the edges, that this all blends in. So get your ruler out. And that's done. That's going to sit in here now. So that's your starting position. We'll turn this card over. It's your starting position. And then when you let go, that's the end position. Now to attach this to the back of here. So when you let go, we can either use this, or we can make a slider. We're going to have a slider anyway. So if this breaks, you're covered. But also a slider to pull it down into place. This is going to be our starting point and our end point down here. We want to have this end point attached to our elastic. So a really easy way to do this is to get your elastic. We're going to have elastic attached to here and elastic attached to this end. So when you pull it up, that stretches it out. When you let go, it lets go. So to do this, you can either do it a couple of different ways. You can either sew this through. You have to dig some holes in here, and then a hole in this underside frame and sew it through. You can do a couple of loops. Or another easier way is, and you don't have to use a needle, you're going to use some super glue and you're just going to attach some elastics. Then anywhere on this card, we're going to add some glue. Attach that on. You're just going to spread your glue out along the card here, and we're just going to add a couple bits of elastic in. So if one thread breaks, you've got others to back you up more times. Do it as many times as you like. I'm just going to do it 5 times. I'm going to press this down just to get rid of that excess glue and flatten everything out. Now we're going to attach our elastics to this end. So what we're going to do is using a bit of tape to hold them all in place to get a nice tension on them. So they're not like loose like you can see here. You know, use another bit of tape to hold the card in place. Pull this up to get some tension on it. Not too much tension that we want it to snap. We're going to pull this up to about here. Just nice and firm. Not too much slack in it. That. Then we're just going to glue along here and hold these bits of thread in place. Now, if you want to make this a complete just slider with no elastics, you can skip all these steps. No need to worry about any of this. Just skip this and move on. We'll get to that in a second. So just let this dry. So while we wait for all this to dry, we're going to cut our back piece out for our slider. So you're going to use an indifferent card here. And you can see here with this card underneath, we've got that little black line of where I've colored it in. We obviously don't want any of this edges to show, so we want that all hidden. So we're going to come up, you can see this comes through about where the feet are, or just above the feet, where the knees are. You want to come to about the feet for where we're going to have our slider. So I'm going to make this slider relatively small. So this is where you can decide how big you want your slider to be. With this, I've got a 1-inch thing that cuts out there, so we can have that whole circle cut out, or you can come down here and make it quite wide for your hands to find it easier. But I'm going to get it a little bit neater and a little bit smaller, so you can definitely use something like this where you can make the exact size you want. So don't need our compass just yet. We're going to get rid of that. We'll come back to that in a second. And then we're just going to cut out this middle bit here. Now this is where our slider is going to sit in. So this should be all drying by now. Yeah. So we're going to go through and we're going to cut these off. Your threads are all here now. So when you pull, stretch those out and you let go and it shoots back. So now to put this on top, we're going to put some double-sided tape here, at the top here, and just on the bottom here. So let's get into that. Great, so then we are going to peel this stickers up. Using your hands, fingers, straighten all those edges up. Okay, so now we have that all taped in place. I want my button to sit over top of this little angel here, so when I push it up, that's where I'm going to hold it, and this is going to be my little slider. You obviously don't need a little button. You could also just have it here, have a little cutout. You could fill it with your finger, but I want a bit of grip for my finger to sit on, so I'm only going to make a small. Get another card if you want, and I'm going to just cut a really, really small hole out over top of my little angel. So make that as small as I can. Now I've actually cut my elastic, so I'm in control of when the slide and the change happens. I'm not a fan of the quick change. But up to you, you could definitely keep that in if that's some route that you want to take. But again, I don't want to, so I've just cut my elastic so I can be in control of the slider. So now that's your finished card. You want, push it up, you're going to let go, and it's going to snap back here. So now we're going to put in what you want your finished card to be. So we're going to do the 3 of clubs. 3 of clubs. So we'll do a 3. Whatever card you want to have the reveal card. So that. Okay, so we're going to change to our own different card. It's up here. And we're just going to use the 7 of diamonds. So that's your gimmick. Let's get into the performance.
Hey, you just finished your build. How does it look? Hold it up. Oh, that looks grouse. It looks way better than mine. Ugh, can you build me one? Thanks. So now you have your gimmick build. It looks something like this, and you want to get into performing it. Now, obviously, before you get into the routine, your setup needs to be in the off card position, the wrong card position. So obviously, either up or down, depends on how you build your gimmick, but in the wrong card position. That is your gimmick setup. Now, the way I like to perform this, I like to have the card sitting underneath the card box and out jog just slightly so you can kind of see it during the whole performance. And for the keen-eyed viewers, they notice it's a picture card because they have that border and a little bit of the picture showing. So you're kind of leading them along the garden path that they know it's going to be a picture ahead of time. Again, this is my own personal preference. You obviously don't have to do this. You can have it sitting inside the tuck box, inside your pocket. Now I'm going to do this a little bit different. I'm going to have the card in plain view the whole time, covered with a ripped post-it note. So even from this performance, if you want to do it this way, cover it with a post-it note, the spectators can see that it is a picture card, whether it's a jack, queen, or king. They're not quite sure just yet, but that is a cool setup. Now you're ready to perform. Now getting the spectator to choose the end card, in my case, it's the 3 of clubs. If you choose the 3 of clubs, great, but if you choose any other card, that is perfect as well. Now there's a couple of different ways you can get the spectator to choose this card, and this is completely up to you and your performance and how you want to have them force the card. But for this tutorial, I'm going to teach you my version of the Riffle Force. I've never been really good with the pinky break, So this is my version. This is my stripped back lazy version. So you hold up the deck and have the spectator call out stop anytime they like. They call out stop here and you show the card. Now this is done by cutting the deck, taking your force card, in this case the 3 of clubs, putting it about halfway down the deck and out jogging it. This is over exaggerated, but you only want to go a little bit just here like this. And then putting the rest of the deck back on top. So you can see it out jog just here. So when you riffle down, you get to that break. You use the thumb here to get that top part of the deck. Take this off and immediately push that card out. So really the force card is now your pinky break. It's now time for the mid-episode giveaway. So before we get into the giveaway, let's find out who won last week's competition. Now last week I asked you what drink you would levitate or even make never ending. Had so many great comments, so thank you everyone who entered. But I chose this comment at random. Derek Heinrich, thank you so much for entering. If you could email me just here, I'll get your prizes straight out to you. But for this week, if you want to win this exact gimmick, plus I'll throw in a couple of decks of cards, all you need to do is comment below what card would be your reveal card. It's that easy. Then I'll choose a comment at random to win this exact gimmick plus a couple of decks of cards and announce you on next week's video. Good luck and let me know them cards. Now let's recap for just a second. You have a card either on your head covered with a post-it note or on a table half covered by a box or sitting in the box, sitting in your pocket, whatever you like. Now you've just had a spectator choose a random card from the deck. Now you're ready to reveal. So for this performance, I'm using a post-it note, but like I mentioned, I normally do this with a tuck box. So if you're watching this and you want to do it with a tuck box, just for explanation purposes and just for your imagination, pretend that this post-it note is the tuck box. So next, I take the post-it note or tuck box and peel it back to show that corner and say, is that the card you were thinking of? And they say, no, obviously not. You say, oh, no, sorry. My card is holding your card. And that always gets a nice reaction. It's a nice little drawn image of the king holding the spectator's card. I actually prefer this version a lot more. That's actually one of my favorite effects to do with the gimmick because it is smash like August, and August is almost over. So don't let August go to waste. Make sure you smash that like button. Destroy it even. You're the best. Thank you.
Now, back to your regularly scheduled show.
Now you obviously want to change this 7 of diamonds into the spectator's card. This can be done by a couple of different ways. The first one is the shape change, and it's going to look like this. And that is done by your ring finger is going to be supporting the bottom of the card. Your middle finger is going to be supporting the back of the card, like so. Your thumb is on your button, ready to pull down. And your index finger is on the front of the card, supporting the front of the card. So as you shake, like a small shake, I'm going to do it slowly here. All you're going to do is pull down on that. If you want another grip that might be easier for you, take the little finger and put it on the bottom of the card. Your ring finger is supporting the very bottom of the card. Your middle finger is supporting the back of the card again. And your index finger is supporting just halfway up the card. So as you slide down, it's a bit more support. That could be a different way you want to support the card. But again, as you shake it, it's going to change. Now a nice little variation on this from Lloyd Barnes. Lloyd had this really nice idea of performing it with your phone and the reflection in the phone screen. So you could show the card the 7 of diamonds and have the reflection in the phone and show that this 7 is reversed. Then all you're going to do is you go to show the spectator that it looks like a 7 of diamonds. And then when you bring it back, you're going to slide it into a reversed 7. So when you show it in the phone screen again, it is now the right way around. And you'll say, does that look like the 7 of diamonds the right way? And they say yes. And you bring this back around to the spectator and they can see that this picture is now reversed. So thanks Lloyd for that incredible version. Now that's all the time we have for Saturday Sorceries this week. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions on Random Hero, please put them in the comments below. I'd love to answer them. Now thanks again for everyone who entered the competition. I can't wait to read your entries. But if you have any random items you want me to create magic with, please put them in the comments below. I'd love to check them out and then create magic effects and teach you next week on Saturday Sorceries. Now I'll let you get back to your Saturday champion. Actually, if you have some time free, come over to our Discord, link in the description below right now. We're going to play a trivia game where you can win more awesome prizes. We're having a jam straight after. It'll be a great fun time, so come join us on Discord. But if you're watching this on another day, no dramas. Enjoy whatever day you're experiencing. And then on Saturday, come hang out on our Discord for our trivia and games and competitions. And then the jam. I can't wait to see you then. But enjoy whatever you're doing. Take care. Bye for now. See you later. Whoa, look at this. Well, so much good magic in there. You need to check this out. You're not going to regret it. I pinky promise you. Oh, whoa. Look at this.
this shining diamond over here? What is this? Beautiful. You probably should click that if you haven't subscribed yet. But then you should definitely check out this because this is good. Treat yourself.